Hello, welcome back to Dominant Mets Nation. Oh boy, what a difference. What a difference how Mets fans must feel right now. The Mets literally just annihilated the Atlanta Braves 16-4 today and literally pummeled them in this series, outscoring the Braves 29-17, beating the Braves again at their own game. And the Braves, they're used to slugging it out against their opponents. I gotta say, if you're a Braves fan, to be honest, you have to be disappointed. You have to be disappointed. If you're a Mets fan, you got to be pumped up. This has implications going forward. I'm going to tell you what this means for the Mets going forward because this certainly kind of changes the game in a good way. Okay, well, we're going to go over some highlights. We're going to go over some key notes. And before we do that, if you're an excited Mets fan, you got to smash that like button. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel. If you're a passionate MLB fan, this is the place to be. Okay, all right. So we are pumped up right now. The Mets are 5-7. We're 5-2 out of our last 7 games after starting the season 0-5. Okay, that is in the rearview mirror. We're 2.5 games behind the Atlanta Braves. And I got to say, this series was so important in so many ways. I'll tell you this. And to the Mets, this meant a lot. To Steve Cohen and all the Mets players who were here last year, which is a majority of the guys. Last year in August, the Atlanta played the Braves. The Atlanta Braves played the Mets and completely destroyed us. I remember putting out a video titled 36-3. You can go back and check it out. I believe there were like 11,000 views. I swear, out of the 11,000, maybe 10,500 were from Braves fans. They were killing us, and rightfully so. The Mets were outscored 36-3, or maybe it was 33-3. I remember there was a discrepancy with the score, but bottom line, we got annihilated. So the Mets literally had that in their mindset. We went into Atlanta, their home turf, and we took it to them. And this is the emergence we're seeing of guys like Brett Beatty, obviously Francisco Alvarez, but Beatty I'm extremely excited about because as Keith Hernandez, Gary Cohn, we're seeing this guy transform before our eyes. He's playing with a passion. He's playing with fire and desire. We need these guys. Beatty was never comfortable on the MLB level. If this guy gets comfortable and you couple him with Francisco Alvarez, who this guy's got a very slow heartbeat, nothing seems to get to him. He's got nerves of steel. You see the arm behind the plate. He's able to throw out runners. These two guys could be the cornerstones of our franchise for the next decade. They're both offense and defense guys playing very important positions. Very excited if you're a Mets fan. And that doesn't even include like a Ronnie Mauricio, who I was extremely excited about. All right, so you see the young guys emerging, which is great. Now you're looking at the veterans like Nimmo, Pete. He's getting into the mix. You see our veterans, McNeil, starting to get hot, starting to percolate. Starling Marte's gotten off to a hard start, a very good start. And the thing is, you see the flexibility, putting Starling Marte in the beginning of the lineup. I mean, when these guys are hot and they're doing stuff, it gives us more offensive flexibility. It gives our lineup a more dangerous edge. Tyrone Taylor, he's another hard-nosed guy. I mean, even though Hauser got, you could say hit hard, against the Atlanta Braves, so you give him credit. But I really like the grit. I really like the type of players we got back in that trade. And you see what a guy like Tyrone Taylor adds off the bench. I mean, this guy could play defense. He's got power. He's got pop. I love his attitude. I mean, I could really see what David Stearns is doing. And yes, the first couple games, whatever, we were all upset. Not the way to start up a season. But you see that the offense is beginning to jumpstart. All right. Okay. So obviously, we had an amazing series with the Braves. Amazing series. I'm not going to get too much on the pitchers because I expect Atlanta to hit. I was pretty satisfied by the way our bullpen, for the most part, our bullpen did pretty well against the Braves. I really got to say, holding Atlanta to for 4 runs in this last game. And, they were without their guy, Spencer Strider. So I know a lot of Atlanta fans are probably saying, oh, you beat our backup pitcher. Oh, we had a bunch of bullpen guys. But this was indicative of what the Mets had to go through the first game. We were in the same scenario as the Braves were today. We had a backup pitcher or a scrappy pitcher in Julio Teheran, who gave up runs, gave up the lead, but we were able to claw and fight our way back. It is the mentality that I like right now, what I'm seeing. I like that we do not give up right now, that the game doesn't look like it's over. Even in the game we lost 5-6. We came back in the ninth inning. Pete Alonso with the bomb. And that's another good thing. You got guys like Pete Alonso getting into the fray, getting into the mix. Nimmo looks like, hey, you know what? This could be an amazing year for him. The only guy right now that's really standing out in a negative way would probably be Francisco Lindor. But this is what good teams do. They pick each other up. Lindor right now in 51 at bats, only has 5 hits, and he's batting .098. But at the end of the day, we got to pick Lindor up until he gets going. And once he gets going, that's going to be another dynamic bat in the lineup. And we know he can pick it at shortstop, and he's always been a very consistent glove at shortstop. So you have to be extremely excited if you're a Mets fan. On the pitching front, we all know offensively, we went into the Braves series as one of the worst offensive team in all of baseball. I believe our run differential was -14, meaning that we allowed 14 more runs than we scored. But in this series, or in the last, I think, 4 or 5 games, we made up a lot of ground. Our run differential went from -14 to -1. So that's a good thing. Winning teams have a positive plus minus differential. On the season, we've scored 54 runs. We've allowed 55 runs. So, we're still pitching decent. You got to remember we did face Atlanta. They have good sticks. But, going forward, I want to make a comment on the Kodai Senga news. It just came out yesterday that he's going to go on the 60-day, injured list, or DL, whatever they call it these days, which was really part of the plan. It just gives the Mets more flexibility on the 40-man roster so that they could bring up more guys, relief help, more pitchers to give our guys rest. And, that's what it does. It just gives us more flexibility. Kodai Senga wasn't really expected back until sometime early June at best anyway. So Kodai Senga news really didn't change. On other pitching news, we have Christian Scott in his last minor league outing. He pitched, I believe it was like 4 or 5 innings, and he had 10 strikeouts. So he is looking electric in the minor leagues. Freaking electric. So it looks like we're going to see him sooner rather than later. I like that he's putting pressure on the pitchers right now currently in our starting rotation. That's good. McGill, he should be back. He should be back soon. I didn't get an exact date, but he should be back in the near future. And Peterson, I didn't get a date as well. But, this just what me naming these guys is highlighting our pitching depth. And if we can somehow tread water for the next month or so, we are getting heavy reinforcements in McGill, Senga, eventually Christian Scott. So pitching will be there. Hitting is where we were having trouble. And as we saw in Atlanta, that's going to be expected going forward, folks. That is going to be expected, and I fully expect the lineup to continue this. I really do. So I'm extremely excited. Drop your comment. Tell me what you think. How excited are you? Are we feeling good about? Let's look forward. Are we feeling good about the playoffs now? I know the first 5 games were rough. how are we feeling? We're going to be going into a series tomorrow with the Royals, and then we're going to be playing Pittsburgh, and then the Dodgers, and then San Fran. So we have a bit of, I'm not going to lie, we have a bit of a rough schedule. But if we play like we played the Atlanta Braves, then we should be able to compete against any team. This lineup looks good. In the beginning of the season, I said the lineup is going to be fine. Obviously, I was personally worried the first 5 days, but 5 games. But I overreact sometimes, so that's par for the course. So how are we all feeling, folks? If you're a Braves fan, it's a tough loss. I gotta say, it is a tough loss. You can't lose games like this. You really can, especially if you feel you're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league vying for a World Series. It's just not acceptable, especially at home. Mets extremely motivated right now. Let's take this momentum. We're playing the Kansas City Royals, and let's keep this rolling. I usually say can't get any worse, probably will, but I'm extremely positive right now. I'm extremely hopeful, and I think that we have good things coming. JD Martinez, quick note, he had a little setback, back soreness, 5 days. I think they just wanted to sit him down, rest him, see how he recovers. Wouldn't worry right now, especially with the offense doing well. Um, specifically, I got to give DJ Stewart all the credit in the world. It looks like he is extremely motivated with the JD Martinez on his back. So as long as guys like JD Stewart and Tyrone Taylor are hitting the way they are, it looks like we are going to be fine. And I like competition. I really do. And Martinez is just extra gravy right now. Extra gravy. Okay, folks. Again, subscribe. Tell me what you think. I really respect what you all have to say. I feel we have an extremely intelligent, bright community, and I just love it. I love it. Okay. Again, like and subscribe. I will speak to you very, very soon.